First of all, I just want to introduce this book, the third edition of Rosary of Jewels, because during this retreat we will be practicing bits and pieces from this book, and so I think this book will be very useful. And not only in this retreat, but I think this will be used throughout the journey of our own practices, such as during the Padayatra, those of you who are going to join in Padayatra, and those of you who are going to come and come back or go back to your own places and then start to do some practices. I think this rosary jewel, whatever you may call it in English, is what we call is like it's a mala. It's a mala of jewels, and that actually means if you want, or if you have a desire to practice the path of the enlightenment, this is like a key to the enlightenment. This book is a key to the enlightenment. So therefore, this what the edition here, I think you must use it so that it will you'll find it quite useful. And so that's it. First thing I've said, and the second thing is, of course, I want to welcome you to this retreat. And I know just now I just came to know that many of you have already put a lot of effort, not only in the sense of money, but the time, and also not only the time and money, but of course a lot of physical challenges. You might have took in order you to be here and join us in this retreat. And so therefore I really appreciate for your effort to make this retreat happen. Of course, every one of you and every one of us, actually, we all put a lot of effort, and then this kind of retreat happened collectively. Otherwise, if we individually were not there, then I think it won't be like it won't be happening, this retreat. So therefore, this kind of retreat needs a lot of effort from the collectively, collectively as well as individually. So of course, speaking about the collective effort, without individual effort, there is no such thing that collective effort. Collectivity comes from the individuality. So therefore, each one of you, I want to thank from depth of my heart, and also welcome from my heart. Now, as the schedule goes, the Yangti visualization and meditation. Yangti is name for the great perfection, the Drukpa Chenpo. Yangti actually in Tibetan, it is like the ultimate ultimate essence of the phenomena. It is like an essence of the phenomena. It is not only essence, but the ultimate one. So that is what we call Yangti, and that is that refers to the Drukpa Chenpo, the great perfection, which is the the reality state of the phenomena, reality state of the world. And that is very important to recognize it. Recognizing this is very, how do you say, very easy actually. One of the good news is that recognizing this is not a big deal. But the bad news or unfortunate kind of news is that we have never been able to put an effort to realize it, or to sort of like to recognize it. We have been lazy, we have been busy, and we have been, how do you say, not only lazy and busy, but we sort of like, we have been carried away by all of these happenings in this world. So we have been fooled by many things that is happening in this world. Like good things, bad things, sad things, happy things, and entire things that are happening in our world or in our life, all are unfortunately causing us the destruction. So this is what really we have been facing in terms of the problem. But in terms of good news, this Yangti, or the reality state of the phenomena, has been always there. It has always been there, and it's nothing that have to, gain. You don't have to gain anything. You have it already, primordially. So therefore there is not much of difficulties when you think of it. It is nothing that you have to really gain something that it's not there. You have to create something that it's not there. So that's the part of the so-called good news. I would call it good news, and it's a very fortunate. So therefore we, in a way you can call it like, for those people who are Buddhist, you can call it Buddhahood. The Buddhahood is not very far from us. Those people who may be believing in a God, then the God is not far from us. God is within yourself. And if you prefer to call it realization, if you prefer to call it Dzogchen or Mahamudra, whatever you may call it, it is not far away. It is always there within yourself. Even you can say you are an enlightened person. You are an enlightened being. Not only enlightened being, but you are already enlightenment. Not only just enlightened being, but enlightened being means something like a being that who has been enlightened. But it is not like that. You yourself is enlightenment. So there is not, there is no doubt about it. So that's what I would say, I would call fortunate part of our life. Very fortunate part of our life. No matter what sort of life you are leading to or leading towards, you are the enlightenment. Not only just you and myself, the handful of people in this hall, but even, including an ant or bird, snake, horses, donkeys, all the animals and all the beings are enlightenment. Enlightened beings, if you like. If you cannot, if you cannot perceive or if you cannot believe that the beings are enlightenment, then you might, you are allowed, you are okay to say enlightened beings. He is enlightened beings. I am enlightened beings. You can call it, even though it is not quite correct to say like that. It is not correct. It is not, how do you say, it is not accurate to say that way. But that is better way, just to make you feel a little better, little easier to understand. You are enlightened beings. Oh, okay, then maybe I am enlightened beings. So you may feel a little bit comfortable, more comfortable than you say, like, oh, I am enlightenment. What do you mean, enlightenment? No, I'm not enlightenment. I am maybe enlightened beings. Because we are so used to with the dualistic phenomena, dualistic attitude, way of believing the things. Things has to be like a dual. The dualistic way of believing things, that is very, very much imprinted already in our mind. Therefore, it is much easier for us to say enlightened beings. It's much easier to understand. Otherwise, it is not, ultimately speaking, or it is not, it is not correct from ultimate point of view to say it that way, enlightened beings. Somebody is enlightened. It is not right, not right. Even Buddha Shakyamuni is not enlightened. He is enlightenment. That is the thing. If you say enlightened, Buddha Shakyamuni is enlightened, we feel very comfortable. Yes, of course. That's the reason he is known as Buddha. That's the reason we are not known as Buddha, because we are not enlightened. He is enlightened because he is enlightened. He realized. So he is a special person. So of course he and she, this is an identification, identifying two things. He is very special, me not. So of course there are dualistic attitude, and which makes us very comfortable. But it is very ignorant way of believing. It is actually wrong way to say that. He is enlightened. Oh no, he is enlightenment. Buddha is enlightenment. And we are enlightenment as well. That is the thing. We have to understand that way. That is something, that kind of boundary needs to be broken. Needs to be, needs to be demolished. If you cannot, if you are not managed, if you don't manage to demolish that part, then you will never be able to practice Yangti comfortably, completely. Accomplished way. Never. Not only Yangtik practice, but other things also. Whatever you practice, the Bodhisattva practices, as well as, of course, the more of like Vajrayana practices. You will never be able to practice Vajrayana practice, Mahayana practice, ultimate, the Buddhist practice. Never will be done, because you have this dualistic attitude. And with this dualistic attitude, we always get stuck in one way or another. So first of all, we need to break that attitude. Whatever we were talking about just a while ago. The dualistic attitude. That is very, very bad. We as a Buddhist today, modern Buddhist people, nothing wrong with being modern and being, being, what do you call that, being a bit of lazy, a bit of busy, doesn't matter. I never worry that much, so to speak. I never worry that much for being lazy. I never worry that much for being busy. In fact, I always ask people to be busy, because the busyness is the part of our life. If you don't have that much busyness in our life, so to speak, then you are nearly dying. nearly, you are slowing down. Actually, that actually means you are close to say goodbye. So this is the reason why we say, unless really you are in a condition that you are going to die soon, or you are really like in a condition that you are not very good, not very well, of course you slow down. Doctor will also recommend you to slow down. And you don't have to say anything, but doctor will ask you to slow down. But other than that, you have to keep yourself busy to run the life, to run the world. And if there is no running, your life will be shortened. If there is no running, your prosperity will be dying, will be diminished, will be decreased. So therefore, prosperities, or whatever you may say, whatever goody things in your life needs to be run, needs to be developed. So therefore, I would definitely, to my students, I would definitely always ask to keep themselves very busy. It's very good. And as long as you're not creating any problem in the society, as long as you're not harming anybody, directly or indirectly, you have to. That is very recommendable for you to be busy. That's very important. People, Vajrayana practitioners, and especially I would say newcomers, I don't know, maybe old comers also as well, they have a very bad habit to say that, busyness is no good. Milarepa was not busy at all, so therefore he got enlightened. All the great yogis, they have nothing to do, so therefore they got enlightened. It's wrong. The yogis, they have much more than what we did. They had very many things to do. They didn't have time to sleep even. They have a great record for not sleeping for so many years throughout the life. They have never slept. Why? Because they have been so busy. Who says that they have not been busy? They have been very busy. 100 times more busier than us. So therefore, busyness is very good to run the life, to develop the good things, to develop the understandings and etc. Everything. You have to run. It has to be run. So what I'm trying to say is busyness. If somebody say, I'm so busy, so I feel very bad, I'm so busy. I don't believe in that. I'm so lazy also is not too bad. That also you deserve, because maybe you feel tired, so you have to be lazy a little bit, just to make yourself little work better later on, or tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be much more fresher if you rest a little bit today. So why not? Why not being a little bit of lazy for tomorrow, sake of tomorrow? So therefore these things I don't worry. The main worry that I have always, for myself as well as for others, is that we never thought about the breaking that boundary, that dualistic boundary. That is the worried thing that I have very much. No matter what kind of effort you put in your practice, how many hundreds of thousands of mantras you recite a day, how many hours of meditation, sitting meditation you are doing, how many books of recitations or reading texts you read, how many pages. That is not the first priority to talk about, because it doesn't help to break that boundary. Otherwise, if you do not touch that topic, if you don't approach to that topic, you will not be able to do it just by simply reading something, reciting something. You will not be able to break that boundary. That is the reason why you need a great master who teach you how to break that boundary. And in order, I mean, in terms of in how do you say, in the connection of the method to demolish that boundary, that of course there are some masters, they recommend you to recite many mantras so that hopefully you will break that boundary. Some masters will say you practice this book maybe twice or 3 times a day, then you will be able to, hopefully you'll be able to break that boundary. Yes, it's like different doctors has a different prescriptions, even though you have a same kind of sicknesses, but the 2 different doctors will give you 2 prescription. So of course it doesn't really matter. I don't mind, I don't care, but I mean, to my understanding, first of all you have to understand the how do you say, what is the how do you say, faulty, what is the negative impact that you can get from the dualistic attitude, that the boundary, and what will be actually if you can break through the boundary. So these 2 you have to understand. This is what we call, I mean, the Buddha Shakyamuni said, what do you call that? Renunciation. That is the thing. Renunciation is the thing that you have to develop within yourself. Renunciation is direct opposition of that dualistic attitude, dualistic attachment. We have a dualistic attachment or attitude, so that we don't have a renunciation. No matter what you do, you don't have a renunciation, because the world is so real to you, and world is so not only real but so, how do you say, important, very important to your understanding, you know. So the boundary is too strong. Good is too good, bad is too bad, you know. So these things, then these things makes us feel so, how do you say, so heavy, so to speak, so heavy. We have no flexibility, we have no acceptance. Therefore we have no sense of renunciation at all, because everything is so important. How can you renounce? You know, I can't renounce from my computer, I can't renounce from my mobile, I can't renounce from my job, I can't renounce from my relationship, I can't renounce from my house, my flat, my car. Obviously you can't. Why? Because you are the things around you are very, very important. You cannot even renounce your pen, a small thing, small item like a pen or a nail polish, the gadget that you make nails little shiny. You can't survive without that, whatever, that ointment, whatever. You have something to put on your nail. You cannot. Even one day you cannot, without that. So you have to carry that, every gadget, to polish your nail, to put you on your lips, to put your eyes and whatnot. I don't know, whatever. You have a lot of things. So all these things needs to be always there. You cannot survive even one day without that. Why? Because each one of these things are very, very, very important. Unbelievably important. And unbelievably real. You know? So, therefore, renunciation will never be able to practice. Buddha Shakyamuni said, you got to renounce as to preparation for your further development. First of all, you have to renounce. This is why he's saying that. But now when it comes to the practice of renunciation, then now there's a lot of questions. How to renounce? Just go and run away from, say the things that you need usually. So you run away from that, and then just no nail polish, no lipstick, no nothing, and you look like a devil for a couple of days. Otherwise, you do look like very, very like a god and goddesses, But then, without all these rubbing things and powders and all these things, you'll be looking devil. But okay for a few days, just for a few days. But then you'll be used to it. This is also one of the things that the Hinayana already said, that you have to renounce that way. You renounce that way means you have to run away from that. That is what we call Hinayana way of renouncing. And that is very good method though. And as I said, for a couple of days it is going to be a catastrophe, because your friends will be looking at you and say, wow, you look so bad. What happened? Don't come near to me. You may have a disease, you may have something bad, wrong thing, please don't come even closer to me. They may say that. You'll have that's going to be a big, quite a nuisance, I think. But everything, that everything in this world can be, accepted. Can be, can be used to it. You can get used to it with anything in this world. So, of course, once you get used to it, once you realize that once you realize yourself, and you are monk, you are nun, you already renounced. That is what we call it, bhikshunis and bhikshu. Bhikshu actually is a being renounced. The being who is renounced. There's a bhikshu. So bhikshunis is for the female form. So that is the thing. And that Hinayana way of renouncing, and that is very effective for those people who cannot really go into very deep philosophy, just to go through the physical renunciation. And hopefully that will give you the strength of the mental renunciation, which is definitely, the millions of bhikshu and bhikshunis, millions of Buddha Shakyamuni's disciples got enlightened and got, Buddhahood, attained Buddhahood through this kind of skillful method, the physical renunciation. And of course, why not? We try and find out what's all about, and see whether it works or not. I think it works. I tried many times. It works and it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works. It's like those things, in our life, ups and down, ups and downs. So it's acceptable, but it really helps a lot. You have to renounce. For example, the nuns over here, they renounce, I mean, of course they renounce a lot of things, but especially they renounce eating meat. They renounce drinking alcohol. They renounce roaming around in the city without having any directions. So they renounced a lot of things, and it works, and it gives them a lot of peaceful state of mind. Even you can call it blissful also state of mind, blissful state of mind, and contentment, and lots of happinesses. So it works. But of course, if you think about a greater version of renunciation, our version of renouncing is nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean. But of course, itself, I mean, whatever the little thing what we can do, I think it's very good. It's already good, better than nothing. So we have been, I mean, not only just nuns in this Amitabha, but I think everywhere. I think all the monasteries, all the nunneries, all the practitioners, every single practitioners, I think they all are meant to be practicing the renunciation. Everybody who are wearing the maroon and saffron color robes and are meant to be practicing renunciation. You know, the one way or another anyway. So it works and doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it works. But hopefully that'll tune your life into a very good position. Otherwise, if you do not have that kind of discipline, we will not be able to jump into the Vajrayana practices and and get through the deep understanding of Dzogchen. Because Dzogchen, as I said before a while ago, Dzogchen is nothing but, how do you say, the process of breaking through this solid wall, so-called, we call it attachment. I call it dualistic attitude. You know, when you look at the things, you need to have a certain attitude, you know. I mean, for example, you all look into all these fancy things in my on my table, and I have a attitude, my own attitude when I look at these things, because I know what is inside, what's for, and all these things. You will look at this, and you have a different another attitude. So we all have a different attitude when we look into the things. So of course, collectively speaking, we all have a kind of a same attitude, which is the dualistic attitude. That is what we call thick wall, very big wall that we have to break through. So Dzogpa Chenpo, when it comes to practice, that is a skillful method of breaking that attitude. When it comes to the view, or when it comes to the reality, the Dzogchen actually means, you know, the reality of all the phenomena, reality of this wall, which has never been never been inherently not there, never been there. That is Dzogpa Chenpo. Yet we all have that thick wall in front of us. So that is, I don't know what we call, but you know, you can call it unfortunate that this never born thickness, the thick wall. Thick wall is there, yet never born, never have been there. So it's like a mystery, very sad. and very good fortunate, very, very fortunate, good news also, because it never been there. It has never been there. But unfortunate part, what I would say is that it's there. It has been causing a lot of problems with us. So it's there. So therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni found a special word for that. True truth. You know, he has given a true truth. Truth that is existing, what do you call that? Existing, yes. Existing from a relative point of view, it is existing. So therefore it is a relative truth. He call it this thing, relative truth. But also he said ultimate truth. He found the words ultimate truth, which again refers to the things that is not there. It has never been there. So now, what am I mean, maybe I'm confusing you guys, but what I'm really talking about, maybe half an hour, we have been talking about something, yeah? So what? About what? About all the phenomena which we can see. In this hall, there's I don't know how many pillars. We have a lot of pillars. The pillars are very well sort of, how do you say, painted, and also very thick. That is what I'm saying. Very, very solid. So this is what I'm saying. The pillars are very solid. This building is hopefully very solid, you know, and everything is solid. You all are very solid to me, and I am very solid to you guys. So this is what I'm saying. The thick wall, what I'm talking about, is mainly we are talking about what we can see. That's the thing. Of course, from academic point of view, you can go a little bit deeper and a little more confusing. You can swim into the confusing water. I don't like to go through all these things because I'm not a very academic, and also I'm not really interested in, and especially I'm not, how do you say, I'm not interested in dragging you guys into the academic way of thinking, because it wastes a lot of time, a lot of effort. If you go through all these academic way, all these intellectual things, you will never reach to the point. Or you will reach to the point, but it takes ages. You'll be by then 80 years old, 90 years old, if you are still there, luckily. But I don't know. These days we can't really predict, you know, when we are going to go to the graveyard. Soon, most probably. So therefore we need to really go direct. That is more effective than, you know, dragging each other in the name of, you know, master and student and all these things. Read that text, this text and this and that. Main point is Dzogpa Chenpo. Main point is the Mahamudra. Main point is the thing that we can see. That's all. They're making so much of colorful, so many roads, so many alleys, so many, you know, of exit and all these things. Very, very complicated and very, how do you say, very colorful and very attractive in a way. But in another way, it is very confusing. And there are many people who likes this. So of course, if they prefer that way, go ahead. There's no objection on that. But my style is, and Milarepa's style is, that why don't you go directly and cut through it and then get it finished. Your business is finished. There's nothing much to do. Why you are fooling yourself? Why you are talking a lot of things? And why you are not only fooling yourself, but you are fooling your other people also, by showing them academic way, by showing them all. Maybe it's a good that, you know, if you have a lot of time, a lot of days, a lot of, how do you say, yeah, a lot of spare times, then you can just think and read and, and argue and, and then of course if you have somebody, if you are lucky enough, you'll have somebody so-called Dhamma friend who want to argue with you, and then you can argue with him or her and then, have fun. Yes, I like to argue with the people also, but there's not much of a good result coming out of it. Nothing. Sometimes I also end up myself getting angry with that man, saying, I said yes, but he said no. How come? And when I say no, then he say yes. So what is that? So I get also a little upset. Oh, what's the point? Yes and no, yes and no, and argue and argue and argue. Oh no, what's the result? It's just a waste of time. That is the reason why Milarepa said, even he even dared to say that, the Buddha Shakyamuni also has talked a lot, talked too much. He said, Buddha Shakyamuni also a little bit too much in terms of talking. He talked too much in relative truth. So therefore, many people cannot get out of the relative truth into the ultimate truth. He sounded as if he is complaining the Buddha Shakyamuni. I think it's a little bit of joke. He wants to sort of like a little bit of sense of humor by saying that. But literally speaking, what he wants to say is that, we all as a practitioner, we have to get to the ultimate truth directly, without being zigzagging yourself. That is very, very important, I think. Of course, the Buddha Shakyamuni needs to talk a lot about this thing. Why? Because he has millions of followers. And millions of followers has millions of different attitude, different beliefs, different comfort, different the motive. So therefore different people needs different sort of idea. For example, the patient, the client, if you have a patient, if you are a doctor, you have to give lots of different medicines, because the different clients or different patient has a different sicknesses. So different medicines he has to give. Of course, if people are lucky, then of course they all have to be like a Milarepa, but they are not. So therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni has to give a lot of different teachings. A lot of different things, different teachings. And these different teachings sometimes, they are contradicting among themselves also. They're very contradictory. They are, so therefore, it's like too much of confusing, too much of that, too much of this, Also, that is also one of the reasons why the Buddhist is a very, very confusing religion anyway, if you like. That is the reason why I think, I don't know, but I think these days Buddhist population in this world are getting lesser and lesser and lesser. And the religions like Muslim, Islamic religion, and maybe even Christianity, I don't know, but the Islamic definitely is very, very now getting popular. Why? Because it's not confusing. It's just only one, that's it. If you like it or not, you just force yourself to be like that, to believe in that. That's it, and there's no second thought. So it's a very simple. So people like that, I guess. So therefore everybody like, I don't know, if you how do you say, search, or if you do a little bit of research on these kind of things, in this world, which religion is most sort of how do you say, popular in this world? I think the Islamic religion is the most popular. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's because I think it's a very simple. It's one, that's it. And then they force you. They force you to get in, and that's it. And then the God will accept you. When you die, the God will take you to the, maybe above the moon or sun or I don't know wherever. And they will, the many virgin angels will welcome you and make you happy forever. Well, that's it. Full stop. So of course many people believes in that, and then that's it. There's no zigzag, nothing. You just go ahead. Very simple. But the Buddhism is not like that. It's a very confusing. It says a lot of different things, and it has a lot of different things to practice, and it has a lot of different way of approaching, and which one is best for you, you don't know. Many of my students also, they say, I have been practicing Buddhist teaching for many years, but I don't think I have found the real one. So which one is the real one? Please tell me which idam deity is the real one that I need to practice. Which dakini is good for me? Which guru is good for me? Which meditation is good? And heaps of them are there. I don't know which one is best for me. So after 20 years of being Buddhist, again, still you are confused. You don't even know whether you are really doing the Buddhist practice or not, whether you are really Buddhist or not. You don't know. So it's a very confusing. So of course I sound as if I'm a little bit of like a complaining, but actually it is true. It is the fact that it really is confusing. But the good part is that the Buddhist or the Buddhist teaching is designed for millions of people. And the Buddhist people, like Buddhist followers like us, we should have no concept, no fixed concept. That is the thing. We have to be, first of all, we have to really try our best to be flexible. The flexibility is really the attitude that we have to build in to start with. This is the reason, one of the reasons I say, please don't be fanatic. I always say, don't be fanatic. Don't say bad things to others' way of doing. Even if they do something nasty, leave it. Doesn't matter. You mind your business. They have their own way of doing it. Don't criticize. Don't fight. Don't disagree. Just leave it there. If you don't feel comfortable, doesn't matter. You have to open yourself. And you have to do your way, your comfortable way. Don't be so nosy. You don't have to, because that is the nature of the Buddhism, nature of the Buddhist teaching. There are many followers of the Buddhist teaching. They are vegetarian, for example. Many of the Buddhist followers are non-vegetarian. Some of them even drink the alcohol also. So of course, from my attitude, for example, this one person, speaking from a one person point of view, I don't think the Buddhist accepts the idea of drinking alcohol. I don't think so. But who knows? That is the thing. Who knows? We are very ignorant. We are so, undereducated, We are very poor in education. Very poor. There are hundreds of volumes, very thick volumes that Buddha Shakyamuni has given. Did we read one book, one volume of that Buddhist teaching, the Buddha Shakyamuni's teaching? No way. Even I didn't. So you guys definitely not. It's a so thick books, hundreds of them. And God knows what is written in these books. Buddha Shakyamuni hai. They have said millions of different ways. Maybe there will be pages saying that you should drink alcohol. Who knows? So why you have to be so fanatic? You do your own way of doing it. Whatever your root guru, whatever your master, your abbot told you to, you just go ahead with that, without being fanatic, without being criticism to other lineages, to other followers, to other behaviors. No way. Just leave them alone. They are Buddhist. Very good. Thank you. Just salute from the distance. Just give them good salute. That's all. You don't have to follow them, you don't have to be nosy, you don't have to be saying bad things about them, good things about me. No way. Just leave them alone. You follow your lineage, you follow your tradition, you follow your customs, you follow your teachings, you follow your whatever the path. That's it. You nourish yourself, your practices, your understanding, your development, and that's it. Keep silent. And this is what the Buddha Shakyamuni is teaching. The Buddha Shakyamuni entire teaching that he has really summarized is 3 things. Don't talk too much about others, they say. He say, and investigate yourself. That is the second thing. And follow the discipline. Third thing. So these 3 are the most important, he say. The discipline is very, very important. Overall. That's all. What we call shila in the Sanskrit, it is a discipline, I think, in English. I don't know what they call it in English, but it is like a form of a discipline. And whatever the discipline that Buddha has given, the Guru has given it to you, or the Master has given it to you, that you have to follow very, very, very correctly, very nicely. Almost a fanatic way. Almost a fanatic. Without being fanatic, but you have to be. For example, you don't eat dinner. Your guru said, or your tradition says, do not eat dinner. After lunch, no dinner. Okay, don't eat dinner. Whatever the condition may be, you don't eat dinner. So that is disciplined. You cannot say, I'm a Buddhist. I can have a dinner. I can do whatever I want, because the Buddhist is very flexible. No. That is the reason why Buddha Shakyamuni said 3 things. You have to be disciplined. That's it. But don't talk about others. Means don't criticize for those people who are eating dinner, for example. Because of you being a vegetarian, criticizing others who are eating, who are non-vegetarian. No, it's not good. They are non-vegetarian, doesn't matter. They have their own way. They have to take care of themselves. What to do? I am vegetarian. And that is the discipline. That I am going to be vegetarian for this and that period of time. Now it is a discipline. So it's very important to have a discipline. There are many people like, for example, in Himalaya, and maybe the Tibetan, I think, unfortunately speaking, the Tibetan Buddhist people, most of the Tibetan Buddhist people, of course the Chinese Buddhist people, maybe secretly they may be doing something wrong behind the curtains, but in front, Chinese Buddhist people are good. Good means, I don't know, good or bad, I don't know, but they are very disciplined in terms of vegetarian, for example. in terms of the monks not drinking alcohol, of course, very good. There are many maybe doing behind the curtain, but in the front, nobody, no one, which is good anyway. I mean, I would say. But unfortunately, Tibetans in the Himalaya regions, in Tibetans Buddhism, they eat anything, whatever it is there. You know, they drink anything, whatever it is there available to drink. For example, this is happening here. Especially I'm talking about the Buddhist community. Maybe there are many nuns and monks, maybe they are having a little bit of discipline. But the Buddhist community, lay community, they think, we have no restrictions. They eat yak meat, they eat pork, they eat chicken, they eat fish, they eat everything. I don't think they eat horses. But maybe they will eat if you cook very nicely and offer it to them. Definitely they will have it, But of course they don't have a habit of eating horses. Swiss people, they eat horses. And I think Vietnamese maybe they eat, because Vietnamese and all these region Chinese, many Chinese also, they eat everything except table. So Tibetans also almost same. They will eat, maybe not very happily, but they unhappily they will eat it. No discipline, no sense of disciplines, which is very sad, actually. Especially when we live nowadays, the world is so small. We almost live together. Everybody is living together. The Christianities, every religious followers, they are living together. And we can see how bad and how sad and how sort of like not following the Buddha's teaching. Very sad, anyway, when we see these things, very sad. So, but why they are doing this is because they misunderstood the teachings of Lord Buddha. When we say, I also said just a while ago, I said flexibility is the very important attitude. So when we say flexibility, the Buddhist community thinks, oh, see, he's saying flexibility. You can eat everything. The flexibility means you eat everything, drink everything, do everything whatever you want. Don't be so restricted. Be flexible. So this is a great misunderstanding. They misunderstand fully the teachings of Lord Buddha. So therefore, it has been like this, misunderstood, for generations, maybe more than 1,000 years. There has been like this. So therefore, even in the Himalaya regions, I also saw people saying and hearing that I heard also people saying that, why not? Why can't we drink alcohol? We are not Muslim. We are Buddhist, so we can drink. If you are Muslim, yes, you can't drink, but we Buddhist, we can drink. We are Buddhist, therefore we can eat pork. If you are Muslim, yes, you cannot eat pork, but you are not Buddha, you are not Muslim, are you? So, come on, go ahead, enjoy the pork, enjoy eating pigs, So this is what people saying that. I heard that by myself. So this is the attitude. It's 100% misunderstood. Flexibility, what we are talking about, is that we have to have the openness of heart towards to the world. But you have to have a discipline within yourself, for yourself, 100%, more than 100%. You have to have a discipline. Without discipline, you can never get anywhere. Even though you do a certain good things, but then the bad things that's happening, or negative karma that you are accumulating from somewhere else, from different angle, that erases the rest of the good things you have accumulated. So it is like it's a kind of a waste of time, waste of effort. Whatever you do good things will be erased tomorrow, because you have been eating wrongly, the drinking wrongly, doing wrongly, thinking wrongly, because you don't have discipline, because of the flexibility that your guru said about. So therefore you sometimes you can even sound as if you are very proud of yourself being not disciplined, not flexible. Being flexible. I'm being flexible because, see, I'm Buddhist. I'm good Buddhist. No discipline, no restriction, no complaint, nothing. You just eat everything, do everything. So, see, look at me. I'm very Buddhist. I'm being very good Buddhist. So this is almost like a spreading, like a sicknesses, disease. It's like a spreading a disease in the Buddhist society. So one has to really be very, very careful. So these three are very important. Not talking, not talking too much. Talking. Therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni said, "Ngani nyepa kundu tsawate ngan tunum kundu damracha." That actually means the speech. Generally speaking, the speech is the root of the fault. Root of the fault means the source of the negativities. So therefore, most of the time you need to, how do you say, keep silent. This is what he said. And it's true. Talking too much is no good, because it will sooner or later lead you to talk something nonsense about others. So therefore, and that also, not only talking something negative for others, but then it will lead you to thinking about the negative part of the. So the thinking negative about others actually makes you more negative, that's all. You're not making people more negative, even though you think that I am making people more negative because of I'm talking negative. So he's hoping that I will be able to make him worse. But he's maybe not getting the worse that much, but you are getting the worse. You are creating negative, how do you say, negative vibration around you. You can call it negative aura. You have a nothing but negative aura around your body. So of course, no one will like to be near to you. No one will feel comfortable to you, comfortable with you. No one will like to hear what you say, because you are all negative. People always say, he's very negative, don't listen to him, I don't like what he say. This is the thing. This is the kind of result of you yourself being a negative, talking negative to others. However, so my main topic that we are talking this morning about is the breaking that attitude, that solid attitude, that you have to be able to break through. And now, how do you break? As I said before, many master has a different method, many text has a different method, but generally speaking, and to my understanding, you have to keep on contemplate. Recitation will also be able to help because you have a contemplation. Yogas and exercise and all these, playing cymbals and and musics and chanting, singing songs. All these things will help if you have a contemplation, the skill of contemplating. If you do not have a skill of contemplating it, you will never be able to approach to the real scene of breaking through the wall, because you have no target. What is your target of practice? You are practicing Hundro. You may be practicing Hundro very diligently. You may be practicing the Vajra Yogini. You may be practicing the Avalokiteshvara. You may be practicing the Guru Rinpoche, Guru Padmasambhava. You may be practicing Tara Devi. You may be practicing heaps of different sorts of skills. But what is your target? What is your motive? That is the thing. Most of us are just a copycat, very much the copycat. Somebody is doing something there. I might do that too. It looks quite nice. It looks quite positive. It looks quite promising. Why not me? It looks I am a little bit like a left out. So now I should get into the scene, because I'm a Buddhist. And am I not? I'm a Buddhist. My father is Buddhist, my mother is Buddhist. I love Buddhism. So therefore I should do it. This person is doing a lot of things early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something else, so many mantras, so many recitations. I might as well do it. Why not? So this actually, I would call it copycat. So this is what that doesn't help, that doesn't lead you to that good result anyway. I mean, it's maybe better than nothing. But I don't think it is a good way of approaching or good way of initiating yourself. So what is the now target? The target needs to be understood, which is the breaking the attitude of solid, all the phenomena being solid, all the phenomena being ultimately there, inherently exist. That is very, very important. That needs to be broken. No doubt about it. In order to do that, then as I said, you can apply lots of different skills. Lots of different skills. I don't mind. I don't care, for example, what mantra you are doing. I don't care. You do Om Mani Padme Hum, great. You do Om Mani Padme Hum, great. There are, I mean, in the Buddhist, not very often, but anyway, there are some methods reciting only Om. That's also great. You can just recite Om. Why not? There are many like a Gelugpas. They recite Migme Tsewa. Okay, go ahead. Very good. It's a recitation of supplication to Je Tsongkhapa, and they recite hundreds of millions of them, and it's okay. Go ahead. Whatever you do, it's okay. And there are many people who are reciting and who are practicing Beza Guru Padma Siddhi whole life. Go ahead, very nice, great. There's nothing wrong with it. And as long as you have a skill of contemplating it. Contemplating what? Contemplating all these phenomena which you can see. You don't have to look for something else. That is the very, very important part. We generally have a kind of a misunderstanding and kind of an understanding that makes you looking for something else. You know? Beside these things what we can see, you look for something else. And that is a great mistake, great misunderstanding, great misleading. You look for what? You're not looking for anything. If you are Muslim, if you are Islamic, yes, you look for God, the Muhammad, the Allah, somewhere up in the sky. Unfortunately, you can't see, but He's there with the angels, and you have to look for it. And maybe in this life also you can see it. If not, next life, the minute you die, you will be welcomed by those angels and Allah. So you have to research, search for that. You have to look for it. But here, as a Buddhist practitioner, what are we looking for? We're not looking for anything. What we can see here, as you know, unless you are really blind, then maybe you cannot see, but you can have a vision, I think, and you can touch. You have a feeling of touch. You have a ear. You can hear. So all these things are included, even if you are blind. But if you are not blind, you can see many things. You can hear as well. So all these phenomena, very solid, as if it is very, very solid and inherently exist. But you have to contemplate. When you see them, you have to contemplate. You have to, digest it. Food has given, but you have to digest it. If you not have the skill or the energy of the digestion, then you get sick. So in order not to get sick, you have to digest all these things. So how do you digest? You have to investigate. That is a short period of your life which really you need a little bit of academic touch. You have to investigate whether these exist or not. Little bit of investigation is very, very important. They call it self-analytical meditation. So that is the analytical meditation. You have to analyze. Analytical meditation is needed a little bit to start with. Otherwise we are very, very ignorant. Ever since the beginninglessness of the samsara till now, and also if you remain like this, you will definitely always be carried by the ignorant. Ignorant, what I meant by, is the believing in the solid wall, the believing in the solid pillar, solid column, solid man, solid woman, solid boy, solid girl, solid me, solid you. Everything is solid, permanent. Everything needs to be seen as an impermanent. Everything needs to be understood as emptiness, because that is the reality of it. So that needs to be seen and needs to be understood as needs to be contemplated. Without contemplation, I don't think you can see it. Can you? You can't. I can't, actually. I can't see emptiness. What do you mean emptiness? I can see. It's a very solid. Everything is solid. I have to use a door to get out. Otherwise, if you bank yourself into the wall is very solid, that will break my head. So it's dangerous not to sort of have eyes. So you have to go very carefully so that you can get out, because there is a door to get out. And that is really actually means that the solid wall is solidly there. So you cannot see. You cannot just say, yes, for example, this afternoon you just go walk through the wall. Because this morning I said, the wall is not solid. So try to sort of jump out of the wall, through the wall. You cannot. You all will end up in the hospital. Yeah, we'll have a lot of problems. Bleeding like nobody's business everywhere. So you have to be careful and go through the door, not through the window, not through the wall. So all these things are because you need a contemplation. Contemplation is the only one that, only the solution. A contemplation itself is a meditation, actually. So it is the only solution after knowing such thing, about the impermanence, then the contemplation takes you to the reality. The teaching is very important, but teaching doesn't make any sense, that much sense. Because teaching will give you the sense of understanding, but it is not contemplated. It is not materialized. It's like a dream. It's like an imagination, but it is not materialized. So in order to materialize or the realize, one needs to really be contemplating. This is this is even known as yoga. In Vajrayana we call it yoga. Yoga in Vajrayana, what we meant to say is that you have to really always be contemplating the emptiness, the essence of the phenomena. So that is very important, analytical meditation, analytical. So now you can go back what you are, who you are, and what kind of practice you are doing. I know you guys over here, whoever came in this retreat, you guys, I think, have been practicing a lot, but you just now go back to yourself and what have you been doing? Now you can think of it. You have been practicing, you have been reciting, you have been even do some so-called meditation, doing some meditation. But did you ever think about what you see in your in your front? The wall, the people, the mountains, the houses, the car, the road. Did you ever take in a little bit of chance or a little bit of opportunity to contemplate on it and say whether that exists or not, whether these things exist or not? I think we hardly have thought about. So this is the main thing that causes our delay in terms of achievement. That is the main thing. There are many other obstacles such as bad luck. Bad luck is the wrong words or wrong terminology that we use, but anyway, it's like a accumulation, negative accumulations, so-called bad karma, negative karma. Lots of negative karmas are there. But there are many students, and like myself, we always complain on something. Oh, I have a bad karma. So that means you complain to the bad karma. I have a bad karma. I have a bad habit. I have this, I have this. Yes, you have a bad habit. You have a bad karma. You have everything. Yes, you are very bad. Anyway, so what? If you don't contemplate it, you are very bad. So am I. So everybody is very bad. What does it do? Negative thought brings you into more negative realm. But that is not right. You have to find a solution to get out of it. And how do you do it? There's only one method, that is the contemplating. You have to contemplate. You have to think and think and think. And then you will find the meaning of emptiness, the meaning of ultimate truth. Buddha Shakyamuni said. What Buddha Shakyamuni said is ultimate truth. What is ultimate truth? Is not something that you have to find from somewhere else, miles away. Then you will find the ultimate truth. No, ultimate truth is within the pillar, within the column, within ourselves, within the friend, within the insect. Ultimate truth is there. And it's 100% there. It is not something like a foggy, or it's a kind of hazy thing. No, it is 100% clearly there. But we are not recognizing it. Why? Because we are so much influenced by the wrong attitude, imprinted, very much imprinted. Not only influenced, but it's really imprinted. So therefore, we cannot see it. But now, after this retreat, these few days of retreat, now you have to start your life freshly through contemplating it. At least you ask questions. At least. Whether these are things are, yes, Buddha said, my Guru said, it does not exist. But whether that is really in our practice or not, the reality is or not, you just have to check. That is the reason why I always feel very comfortable with the scientific way of approaching also. Because scientists, they don't have a devotion. I don't think so. They don't have a devotion. They don't have a Mahamudra attitude, Mahamudra way of believing, Dzogpa Chembo way of believing. I don't think so. They don't have any attitude of these religious, because when they say religious or religion, they feel a little far away. They feel a little scared. And their way of approaching or their way of investigating is to find the reality. This comes after that comes after this, and this goes like a triangle. How does it work? So that's what they believe. And what they really investigate, after what they get is they get more or less back to circle. That actually means the circle of impermanent. Even though they may not call it impermanent, they may not call it shunyata, the emptiness, but they will automatically get back to the shunyata. This is what I found out from their books, lately sort of printed and published books. They have found out some sort of a shunyata already, because that is the reality. And they know that the reality, what we see, is not reality. That is for sure now. Even though they are scientists, they are nothing. They just are scientists. They are nothing. They are not believer at all. But now they are finding out that there is a something else. That the reality is not the reality that we think about. That is, they find out. So, of course, I feel quite comfortable with them. Why? Because of that reality. And I think, when I was in Switzerland this time, I went to a meeting in this thing. Now I've forgotten. Anyway, the scientists, many scientists, people, we had a good meeting. We had a long chit-chat. And CERN, they called it CERN. I had a very good meeting with them, and I told them that the Buddha Shakyamuni is really one of the first scientists in this world, I think, because it's now more than 2,500 or 600 years ago. He has already seen scientific way of approaching the world. Whereas other religion, the head of the other religion, they never, I wouldn't say they never, but they hardly mentioned about the way that the Buddha Shakyamuni pointed out to us. So whatever the Buddha Shakyamuni said is, I think, very scientific. This is what I found out and I shared with them. So of course they were very moved And they were very much moved, and not only moved, but they really, they are really agreeing with that. And so, what I'm trying to say is, I mean, I'm not here. I'm not really promoting the science or anything like that. But I think we should understand that how important to contemplate it. So when you look at the things, and then this disturbs you a lot. For example, emotional cases. Maybe anger, maybe desire, maybe in the form of jealousy, in the form of pride or whatever. When it disturbs you, then that is the great time to investigate, to analyze why it is so that, why is it so that it's really disturbing me a lot? How come? So you investigate. This is a great chance for us to practice. You know? Why should I be so upset about it? Why should I be so excited about it? Almost getting into a kind of a trouble of getting heart attack. I'm so excited. You know why? I can't sleep, you know. I'm so excited, I can't sleep. Why? You know, all these things are very, very much the cases that you really have to investigate and find out. That is the teaching. That is really the universal teaching is really given. It's inside there. Silent teaching. Silent teaching. Maybe it has no language. It has nothing. That is a universal language. It has no language of certain nation. No English, no French, no German, no Chinese, but universal. So that is very, very important. Especially, as I say, especially when you get disturbed. That is the great chance for you to grab it. And they say, why? Not only just to relieve your anger and back to happiness. Yes, okay, that was also temporary relief. It's like a drug. It helps. But that's not the goal that you are looking for. You're looking for the ultimate state of the phenomena, the shunyata, the reality, the Yangti. You know, that is the thing. If you are looking for that, you have to know what is really the great chance to grab. You shouldn't miss it. We always miss the great chance. We always miss the great chance. When we are excited, when we are so happy, we will be like a intoxicant and finished. When we are not happy, when we are disappointed, we will be dead, almost dead. Cry, bang the head on the wall, and then of course, worse comes to worse, of course, you just have to commit suicide. Many suicidal cases are happening because they can't take it, because there's no contemplation, no second thought. Just that's it. The things that I'm looking for is not working and finished. I'm going to kill myself. That's it. That's the end of it. So because of that, the suiciding cases are getting a little more and more. Even in Nepal also, now getting more and more. Even in Ladakh, Lahore, these remote, very beautiful areas also, they have now many committing suiciding cases are coming up. Because of this lack of this investigating skill. So you have to take your time to investigate, especially when you come to the emotional cases. Then you have to go through it. You shouldn't let the emotions to drive you away from the nature, drive you away from the how do you say, from the basic emptiness. You know, we are nothing but emptiness. That's a very you have to understand. This is the reason why at the beginning of this teaching I said we are enlightenment. We are Buddha. We are Buddha. No doubt about it. We all are Buddha. That is what the Vajrayana introduces. And we have to understand that. We have to at least believe temporarily. We have to believe in it. And not only just believing. Believing is one thing, but the other thing is, the most important is, after believing in it, then you have to investigate it. Don't just leave it, on the state of the believing. If you believe in it, and then that is like any other religion, They believe. Muslim believes the God is there. Maybe the Christian also believes the God is there. Hindu always believes in the God is there. God is up there. So that is belief. Belief is the religion. But we, as a Buddhist, we don't identify ourselves as a religion. We identify ourselves as a process of development of one's own life. That is the thing. So, yes, belief is one thing that you need to start with, but then you have to investigate it. You have to contemplating it. That is the thing. Maybe you need a break, because we had a tea, no? Some of the people doesn't have that big bladder, so they call it Tibetan bladders. Used to be bigger than the rest of the people's. Especially my bladder is really very, very big. It can take kilos for many hours. I'm quite well known about that. Anyway, so therefore I have to be careful. Just have a short break, and then afterwards I think we'll come back. Maybe a 15 to 20 minutes break. Thank you.